back. WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive. We are positively into the good weather, into the barbecue season, and certainly into the crab cake season. We're taking the Maryland Crab Cake Tour back out on the road. We will be at Slancha on the 17th. That's next Friday when I get back from Europa, and hopefully with a huge announcement regarding World Cup games here in Baltimore 2026. We'll be talking about that. All of it presented by our friends at the Maryland Lottery in conjunction with our friends at Goodwill. I got my Goodwill 100 t-shirt on, and our friends at Window Nation. We're buy two, you get two free. 2 for 2 is the deal in June, all month long at Window Nation. We have a new, not a sponsor, but like a new show. And we don't do a whole lot of like shows on the weekend. If you tune in, you'll hear Dennis, you'll hear Bruce, you'll hear some of the things we're doing. But the Golf Shop Show reached me a couple months ago and said, man, golf season, we had a pretty nice golf tournament here last year up at Caves at BMW. And of course, we know so many folks who hit the little dimple ball all around our community. Mark Greenhalgh is one of the host of the Golf Shop Show. They're heard here each and every Saturday from 8 until 10 on WNST AM 1570. They're from down in Charlotte, North Carolina, doing the golf thing. What's going on, man? I've been doing radio for 31 years, and I have a lot of people reach to me, syndicated this, and put that on, but it really felt like you guys would be a great fit on a Saturday morning here to talk golf, and lots of times we'll be in the middle of cuts and in the middle of tournaments, so you guys pick a nice time to be doing a syndicated golf show on Saturday morning.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole idea is we want to catch you as you're on your way to the golf course, as you're teeing it up. We'll give you a little weather forecast. We'll talk to guys, boots on the ground at various tournaments. I mean, it's an awesome time right now. I know we got through a pandemic, but it seemed like golf exploded during the pandemic because that's one of the few things that you can go do and not necessarily worry about it. I mean, we see guys on the PGA Tour all the time. They hardly hit it next to each other. So us hackers that are out there, we never hit it next to each other. So we didn't have to worry about transmitting COVID next to each other out in the golf course. So great time. And like I said, and like you said, I mean, you guys hadn't had a golf tournament from the PGA Tour in like 60 years. And you get one in 2021 with the BMW Championship. And then you get the Wells Fargo Championship this year.
Yeah, well, yeah, we had perfect weather last year too. It was Labor Day, pre-Labor Day. I was out doing my crab cake tour. We went up there, and I don't think a lot of folks here really knew what to expect. I had friends that had gone to the Masters over the course of time. When they played up in Pittsburgh a couple of years ago, had a friend that went up there for that. We've had the tournament down in Potomac for years, and Tiger used to play in his prime, and then it kind of went away for a little while. But going to tournaments, it's amazing how picturesque it is and how they take those bleachers and turn Caves Valley into really a set for just, the whole world watches, and it's just beautiful. Being outside for golf, it's a different kind of thing than what I'm used to, which is baseball, football, hockey, basketball. Golf is sort of transformative in that way when they come in and take a tournament.
Well, and the other thing too, and what you realize when you go out and watch these tournaments live is the conditions that these guys get to play in. Now, the conditions are awesome, right? I mean, everything looks pristine, greens are rolling fast, but I think people fail to realize is that these golf courses play usually a lot harder than when the members are out there playing. The greens are rolling faster. They're getting really firm, so they're hard to hold. The rough levels go up a little bit. So we get to see these guys play, yes, in pristine conditions, but sometimes these golf courses are really hard. I mean, 3 or 4 years ago, we saw this at, we just had the Memorial Tournament last week. When we first came back from the pandemic, they actually hosted back-to-back tournaments at Jack's Place up in Dublin, Ohio, right? The first week, guys were shooting under par, birdies were flying everywhere. And then when they actually had the Memorial Tournament, they took 2 days off, and they made that golf course where par was a really good score. So you see how the maintenance staff can really manipulate a golf course to play as hard as they want it to or as hard as they need it to. So that's the other thing that's always fun when you go out and watch is how hard they can make these golf courses play.
I've had plenty of people fly into Charlotte on the way to Masters, usually on a Tuesday or Wednesday, not always on a Saturday or Sunday, going down there getting azaleas and hearing the birds up in the trees and whatnot. But you guys aren't far from all of that action. Give me a little background on your show and how a show happens on a Saturday morning. And you have a whole cast of folks down there in Charlotte. You've been putting this together. You have a lot of local sponsors too. So if people are tuning in on Saturday, hear you talking about something out on a freeway in Charlotte, it's what you guys do. But you are taking this thing more national. How long you guys been at it at the Golf Shop Show?
So I actually started back in 2010 on this show, and the show started, we had long drive champion David Mobley. He kind of started the show, and I offered my services. Hey man, if you ever want somebody to come in and rap with, let me know. So he pulled me in one day, and lo and behold, we kind of had a little spark together and started going after it. And then he moved on down to some bigger and better things for him down in Florida, long drive circuit and all that. And so I've really been doing it with a couple of different co-hosts for about 12 years now, and we're really starting to grow. We've been more of a North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia show, and now we're starting to take it a little more national. Yeah, I feel like that our tagline is taking you from tee to green and everywhere in between. So you're going to get golf talk. You're going to find out about new products. You're going to get to talk to some players here and there across various tours, whether it's PGA Tour, Korn Ferry Tour, LPGA Tour, Epson Tour, Champions Tour. We'll even try and get some European Tour players on. So we're going to talk to all those guys, but at the same time, we're going to talk about everything else that's going on in the world of sports. Generally, we have Bill Bender of the Sporting News joins us in the morning. We talk college football, we talk NFL, we talk MLB, NHL, NBA playoffs, all that stuff going on. So whatever the hot topics are in the world of sports, we're going to throw a little bit of that in as we talk about golf as well. So we kind of cover a little bit of the entire sports world gambit. And, in season, if we've got a big matchup going on in NFL, we'll maybe grab some play-by-play guys from that team and talk to them, or talk to somebody about the big national championship game. So a little bit of everything going on.
Nice. Golf Shop Radio Network can be heard here on WNST AM 1570 each and every Saturday, beginning last week, and hopefully for a good long time. They've been at this for a dozen years down there in Charlotte. Mark Greenhalgh is my guest. We call him Greeny around here. If you hear that on a Saturday morning, you'll know. All right, so I want to talk a little Charlotte and have a little fun. I've had Steve Smith here when he came up here and caught footballs for a little while, and I spent some time in Charlotte. Beautiful community down there. I mean, in a growing community. But more than that, I think there's been golf news this week. The Mickelson situation, the Norman situation, the Saudi situation. Where do you stand on all of this? Because it kind of reminds me of when Ted Turner went after Vince McMahon, but this is a little different, and certainly politically different from where I come from, where, the Saudi government murders journalists. I'm not a big fan of that, being a journalist all my life. So, and I think the PGA people have had really a monopoly, into this, and people are coming after it with money, trying to poach stars, as the USFL once did, 40 years ago. And as competition is, I don't know that this is good or bad, but it makes me itch. I'll say that. It makes me itch on behalf of Phil Mickelson.
Well, and here's the thing. The way I look at it is, hey, these guys are all independent contractors, but they have an agreement to play on the PGA Tour. And they've signed documents that say they will do this. They won't go out and play in these other golf tournaments unless they get a waiver. They all put in for the waiver. The PGA Tour denied it. So now if they tee it up in this London event for the Live Golf League, they're in violation of PGA Tour, basically code of conduct. So they are subject to being reprimanded by the PGA Tour. This is a complete money grab for these players. But look, I have no problem with that. If that's what they choose to do, you're more than welcome to go do that. I don't hold any malice against those guys. Here's my understanding, though. You just need to be prepared for the repercussions, and we're already starting to see some of that. I mean, Dustin Johnson was the poster boy, literally on the poster for the Canadian Open that's sponsored by RBC, because he's sponsored by RBC as well, and he had committed to the PGA Tour a couple months ago. Then lo and behold, suddenly now he's in the field for this Live event. So RBC has dropped him. Obviously, you've been marketing that he's coming to play in this golf tournament. So you've done some of those things that have kind of irritated some people and maybe put some people off. But again, I think the Saudis are throwing a lot of money at this. And, they don't have any TV coverage right now. I mean, if you want to watch this thing, you have to go to their site, you go to Facebook, you go to YouTube, and you try and watch it. It's going to be a different dynamic. Yes. And
why do people care? Why would people care about it? You know what I mean? Why would people be interested in the NIT?
Yeah. I mean, and if they had gotten more stars, I think they would have had a leg to stand on. When you're basically relying on Dustin Johnson, and honestly, Phil Mickelson, yeah, he won the PGA Championship last year, but other than that one event for the last 2 or 3 years, he's done nothing. And, the odds say that he's, not going to win another PGA Tour event. He's winning Champions Tour events. You got guys like Sergio Garcia who are past their prime, Lee Westwood who's past his prime, Louis Oosthuizen who hasn't won anything in a long time, Ian Poulter hasn't won anything in a long time.
It sounds like a leaderboard from like 1998.
Yeah, that's what it is. I mean, they're trying to pull in names. You know, Ricky Fowler's on the fence whether he's going to play or not. You're not getting the top talent. The top talent's going to stay on the PGA Tour, so the fans are going to continue to watch where the top talent is. And again, for me, hey, if you want to go DJ, if you want to go make $125 million, which is supposedly what they gave him to come join that league, that's great. But you're not going to be playing against the best players in the world. So whatever trophies you win over there, it's like going out and playing against me every Saturday and Sunday and winning. You know, it's not going to have any status for me. The guys that want to beat the best in the world, like Tiger Woods, you go back and look at Tiger's career. Tiger didn't play in the small events on PGA Tour. He played in the biggest events every week on the PGA Tour, and he has tied for the most wins in PGA Tour history, playing in all the big tournaments. And that's what you want to see out of these guys, is you want to see them beat the best in the world. And that's not what this new league is going to be.
Golf Shop Radio is going to be heard here each and every Saturday morning from 8 until 10 on WNST. And Mark is with us. Greeny, as we'll refer to him for forevermore here. For the actual tour and for where golf is and the game itself. And, I've been doing this 31 years. I remember when Tiger came in, it got me out getting lessons, right? Like 25 years ago, that's kind of where it was. Then Tiger and all the problems that he's had on and off the course and the accident and all that stuff. But he is still the straw that stirs the drink, right? I mean, obviously.
He is the needle.
Yeah, I mean, he is the needle, right? And the next thing would have been the plague over the last 2.5 years to, as you said, take people who couldn't do anything else, who had some thought about golf, that's something they could do, that if they've ever liked the game or loved the game or want to come back to the game, that I would think courses are more crowded now. And it's sort of, from the PGA perspective, sort of hanging on for one star, but it's got plenty of stars. There's a star for everyone in the PGA right now, but it is different than Tiger versus the world, and then I guess Mickelson for a period of time, or Jack and Arnold back 2 generations ago now, I guess. But for the next 5 years, you start mentioning some of these names, especially the American golfers. There's plenty of people to root for on the tour, right?
Yeah, I mean, you've got the great story of Scottie Scheffler. I mean, Scottie Scheffler had never won a golf tournament. Now he's got like 4, right, in a short span of time. You saw Brooks Koepka had never won a golf tournament, jumps on the scene, wins the Waste Management back in 2016. And the next thing you know, he's winning 4 major championships in a very short period of time. You got Justin Thomas, who's just won his 2nd PGA championship. And I think, there's good and bad. I mean, Greg Norman, who's the CEO of this Live Golf League, years ago tried to break away and start some kind of international tour. Well, that got knocked down. But you know what became as a result of that? You got World Golf Championship events that have had a lot of success. So maybe something comes out of this positive for the PGA Tour. I think you're going to see them in the next couple of months come out with something different for their fall schedule and manipulate it a little bit. So there will be some tweaks and some changes. And I think every time they get hit, they respond, and they do a very good job responding. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, last year they gave out PIP money, which was player impact money. And, guys that were doing great on social media, Tiger ended up winning that. Hadn't played in the golf tournament, wins the money for the most social media presence. And if you ever didn't think Tiger was the needle, that proved it to you. Phil did a good job there. Brooks Koepka did a good job there. Bryson DeChambeau, the feud that Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau had, won them some money. So a lot of fun things that are happening on the PGA Tour. Next thing up, we got the Netflix series that's coming out that's been following these guys kind of outside the ropes and getting prepared. And guess what? I think Justin Thomas was a part of that. He just won the PGA Championship. When that comes out, you're going to get a great insight into a guy that wins the PGA Championship. So it's a lot of fun on the PGA Tour right now.
All right, look, I'm going to ask you the toughest question. It's like, the house is burning down. Do you save mom or dad? So it's that kind of question, because I don't know you at all. If you could only play it or watch it, because golf's the most amazing thing because you can play it, right? You can play the same game, right, get the same club, the same ball. The ball doesn't move, as I always say, as a baseball guy or a tennis guy, that the ball doesn't move. It's the same game, right? It is the most amazing game because it is immersive, more so than even, like, I know plenty of old guys my age that play basketball and go and shoot hoops and know what a free throw is and all that. But golf feels you feel tethered to it. I don't know anybody that loves golf, that watches golf, that doesn't play golf. Like literally, I think it's part and parcel. Like I like hockey. I watch hockey. I don't play hockey, right? But football, I don't play football. I watch football, right? But golf is that and I think that's a hard question for everybody because I think most guys like you really like talking tour and talking, celebrities and talking rivalries and talking shots that are made on TV that you've tried to make. But man, if you took the club away from you, right, all you'd have is what some people have with soccer. They sit and they just watch it with a bag of chips or whatever.
Right.
Golf's not that way because you're like, I could do that, or I think I could do that, or I did that once, right?
Well, the big thing about golf is that we're always in search of perfection, right? I mean, you no matter how good you play, you've seen guys shoot 58 on the PGA Tour. We've seen Tiger Woods run away with major championships. There is not a round of golf that you will play where you will say, I got everything out of that round that I possibly could. You missed a 10-footer that maybe hit a pebble and missed the hole, or you hit a shot that took a bad bounce. You always could play better. And that's, I think, what we always strive to do. No matter how good you played, you left something on the table. There's always that carrot that's dangling out in front of you that you can go after. And
well, my guys are trying to break 100, and then they're trying to break 90, and then they're thinking maybe 80 on the right course on the right day, because that's kind of how it is, right?
Yeah, I mean, my low score ever is 65, 7 under par. And you know what? I was 9 under par during that round.
And so, you're still talking about it.
Yeah, I want to shoot that 63, right? I want to get down there. I screwed it up. I made a couple bogeys coming in. I want to get better. I want to do something. So it's always fun from that standpoint. So yeah, do I want to watch it or do I want to play? I want to play it. And I'm a hockey guy too. I played a lot of hockey in my career.
Well, hey, man, they did okay down in Carolina, the other part of Carolina for you. But people don't realize how far Raleigh is from Charlotte, but it's a little bit of a haul. You got a big state down there.
And I'm a Boston guy. I grew up in Massachusetts, so I'm a Bruins guy.
Oh, okay. Well, then you guys did okay this year, too. So how about that? You fired your coach, the Cassidy and the Sundance kid are all going. I mean, Trotz is available. I'll let you know. I got his number. It's in my phone.
I think that might be it.
Mark Greenhalgh is here. Greenhalgh, excuse me, here. We call him Greeny. He'll be here on Saturday mornings from 8 until 10. Tell me about your show again and your cast and what people can expect on Saturday morning when they tune in. And obviously, we got a lot of tournaments coming up here, right? The big one.
Oh, yeah. We got lots coming up. U.S. Open coming up, Open Championship coming up, then playoffs coming up. Myself, Mark Greenhalgh, host of the show. I got Matt Blanchard. He's my co-host. He was a caddy on the PGA Tour way back in the day. So he's got a lot of great stories, has a lot of insight. And Collins Janis is our producer, young kid who loves NASCAR as well. So maybe you get a little NASCAR talk in there too. You never know what you're going to get on the show. Like I said, the Golf Shop Radio Network is going to take you from tee to green and everything in between. We're going to talk all sports at some point. We're going to give you personalities. We're going to give you equipment. We're going to give you insight. And, we're going to tell you what we think. So all that good stuff packed into 2 hours on Saturday morning.
All right, leave Lamar Jackson alone. We got enough of that going on around here already, man. Hey, it's good having you on. It's great to have you guys aboard. We'll make sure that we let everybody know. From 8 until 10 on Saturday mornings, you'll hear some golf and you'll hear Greeny's voice. And he's a new part of the WNST family and all the things we're doing around here. Appreciate you, bro.
Thanks, Nestor. Have a good one.
You got it. Down in Charlotte, North Carolina. They are the Golf Shop Radio Network. You can check them out. We'll be telling you more about them. You'll hear the promos around here as well. I am Nestor. We're getting the Maryland Crab Cake Tour back out on the road, presented by the Maryland Lottery in conjunction with our friends at Goodwill and Window Nation. I got Billy Cole gave me his Cole Roofing mug, and I got my Rofo coffee in here as well. We're going to be taking the show on the road next Friday to Slancha. Hopefully, I would say it's the biggest announcement since the Ravens came to Baltimore in 1995 that we would have World Cup games. My fingers are crossed. We've talked to a lot of folks. Had Dave Johnson on the show, Marty Conway, reaching to Steve Goff down at the Washington Post as well. The 16th is the announcement. That's next Thursday. And the 17th will be at Slancha. I am Nestor. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore. A little bit of golf, a little bit of soccer, a lot of baseball and football. Stick around. We're BaltimorePositive.com.